So Gino chose to go first with his circle, and he's got Grayle and a whole group of Bloodweavers and Stickmen, a Warpwolf Stalker and Megalith. He's going to start off by moving up those little mannequins, and he is going to plop them into forests. Create a good little defense measure. He brought 2 units, and he's going to do the same thing with both of the mannequins. Just create a big forest wall. Next up, he's going to activate his Bloodweavers. They're speed 7, and he's going to run them 14 inches up the board. Defense 14, arm 11, stealth, and pathfinder, so those forests do not impede these guys at all, or these girls, I should say. He's getting them on the flank. Next up, he is going to run the Night Witch. He has 2 Night Witches, and he's going to run both of them. And they're going to stay nearby the units. It's a pretty sweet new solo. And unfortunately, all of his models are primed white, but the Night Witch solos are the ones with the bigger hats and sort of longer weapons there. Grayle is going to advance. He's going to cast Storm Rager on Lord of the Feast to his left. Skinwalkers are going to run right behind the tree wall. And they did come with their Warpwolf Alpha unit attachment. Gives them rapid strike so they can hit twice. Megalith is going to run. Warpwolf Stalker ran. And he is going to pass the turn. Now he's shifting a little bit with his stones, but Gino's going to pass the turn, completely forgetting about Lord of the Feast. Alright, turn 1 for Gorten. Mike is going to allocate 1 focus to his Basher, and Gaston is going to allocate 1 focus to the Vanguard that he's running. Mike is curious if anything on Gino's side bypasses tough. He wants to know just how effective his boom howlers will be. And Gino informs him that the Blood Night Witch solos have grievous wounds. Lanissa is going to move and cast her little Winter Storm spell. Anastasia Debray is going to move next to Gino's objective, which is Effigy of Valor. Gives her cover. He has Madeline Corbeau and Gaston running on the hill. Epic Alexia is also running on the hill. The Boom Howlers are running up front. Vanguard is going to run, thanks to its Jack Marshall, the Gun Mages. The Forge Guard are going to run slowly. They're speed 4, so they're only going 8 inches. And the mule is going to run. I'm sorry, the mule is the one who's Jack Marshall to the gun mages, not the vanguard. Gaston's running the vanguard. Gorten charges the vanguard with his POW 9 gun blade, and he misses, and he casts solid ground, and he's going to drop a wall inconveniently in front of his boom howlers, as if they needed anything else to make them tougher to kill. Basher's going to run, and the gun mages are going to run sort of laterally to get in better position to shoot those pesky blood weavers. And that's going to be turn 1 for Mike. Alright, circle turn 2. Gino's going to upkeep Storm Rager on Lord of the Feast. And to clean things up at the start of the turn, he's going to have to remove all those little tree tokens from his mannequins. They only last for that one round. For convenience, he's going to leave that one little ring on his blood weavers until he moves them. Alright, well, the skinwalkers, they do have reach. They're only speed 5. So he's just eyeballing it. It doesn't look like he's close enough to charge into the boom howlers, but he can probably engage them, which is a pretty good option because they have unyielding. It's going to take their armor 16 to 18, and he can kind of tough it out. Also, he doesn't want to be too defensive this turn because if he doesn't put anything in the zone, then Mike will just score in his turn. So he has to kind of clog that up, which is what he's doing with that little stonekeeper models, or shifting stone, whatever you want to call that. Century stone, there we go. I just made a command check for Anastasia because the skinwalkers do have terror, but she passed. Now he's going to do a run charge order with his weavers, and Mike was measuring out his little spell with Lanissa, Winter Storm. Normally it denies Pathfinder, but there is no rough terrain there, so it was mostly a futile effort to even measure out Winter Storm. For good measure, Gino is going to put 3 of his Blood Weavers onto Lanissa. And he's attacking with one right now. It's only Mat 6, but with Gang it goes to Mat 8. And also POW 11 with Gang. And the Sacral Blade is going to choose Blood Spiller for an extra d6, so that's 4 dice. And that's a dead Lanissa. His solo now is going to run. And his other Night Witch solo is going to run. Again, these girls are speed 7, mat 7, defense 14, armor 11, 5 boxes, 2 PS10 magic little knives, stealth, pathfinder, fearless, and their blood rituals allow it to suffer D3 before each for boosting damage or attack. And then it has killing spree. And then it has leadership blood weavers to give them killing spree. And it also has grievous wounds and life drinker, so it can heal D3 after killing a model. Pretty nasty. Shifting stones are going to shift up. The Stonekeeper is going to... Now the Stonekeeper is going to use Rockhammer on Anastasia. It's a range 8 AoE 3 POW 14. magic ability 6. However, currently Anastasia Debray's defense is 24. She's engaged, and Mike is using that objective against Gino, the effigy, to give it cover. So 24 defense, it's going to scatter and do nothing. Well, it's going to scatter and still hit her. 1 inch to the 1. But then he rolled a couple more ones to do no damage, so 4 ones in a row. Let's get that out of your system, Gino. Stalker is going to walk and try to push Lord of the Feast. Give him a little extra threat. Unfortunately, Gino's just realizing that Storm Rager on Lord of the Feast is going to make this a difficult roll. Now the Stalker himself can kind of increase his strength, but even still, it's like strength 12 versus strength 10 strength check for the successful push. And spoilers, Gino is going to fail that. So Lord of the Feast will simply walk up, and because her defense is so high, he's going to choose not to shoot a raven at her. Megalith is going to run. Well, he's going to rile first, then he'll run. And again, Megalith is sort of a little mini arc node for Grayle, and probably the best spell he can arc is Gallows, or he can also use it as a way to cast Storm Rager on something. Grayle is going to use the Animus Undergrowth, everything within 5 inches of rough terrain. He's going to walk up, and the Druid Wilder is going to run. Back to Mike. Alright, for Mike's turn 2, he is going to give 2 focus to the Vanguard from Gaston. Gorton's going to upkeep solid ground. He's going to give 0 to the Basher. And he's going to take a lot of his time thinking how to get the best out of his feet. Also, he's looking at Anastasia Debray right now and thinking, how can I get her towards Grayle to espionage? He's not going to worry about that wall. They're not going to upkeep that. This is definitely going to be a feat turn. He just wants to make sure he's getting the most out of it. And he really wants to get espionage off, because that's almost a second feat whenever you get that ability to trigger. Espionage is a range 5, and if it hits, everything in Anastasia's command range of 8 gets to make a movement and an action. Alright, so Gaston aimed and shot at one of those guys. Only did a couple damage. Madeline is going to walk up now. She's going to use her... it's not Sucker, but... where she takes control of a model, and she's going to make that model hit one of his friends. Also turning that model completely around so its friends can later hit that Skinwalker in the back. So far, no Skinwalkers have died, though. Armor 18 is pretty tough to chew, especially with 8 boxes. Alright, up next will be the Forge Guard. They're going to do a run charge. And the ones in front are going to go ahead and charge that objective. Some objectives have penalties when they're hit by models, but Effigy of Battle has no such penalty. So these hits do automatically hit by moving. Master. It's going to do 6 damage to that objective. Up next, Alexia is going to cast her Hellfire. It's going to be a POW 14. It's going to be dice off 2. And it's going to kill. She's going to take that soul for its prize. Alright, it's time to position Anastasia Debray. Mike's using Lanissa Rissel as a proxy model to make sure this measurement is exact. Anastasia does have parry, so she doesn't have to worry about any free strikes. But because this is such a powerful ability, he's being very precise. He doesn't want to accidentally shortchange himself or cheat his opponent. And she does have Pathfinder as well, so that trees that she's currently on is not going to impede her. Alright, Espionage will trigger, and boom. That is going to hit Grayle. Now, he's going to measure everything within 8 inches of Anastasia, and those models, like I said earlier, will get a free movement and a free attack. Now, even though some of those models are part of a unit, when they are moving, they are individual models. So, for these command checks, he's making a command for each one, not a command for the unit. Now, that dwarf did pass his command check, and he's going to try to hit Lord of the Feast. He manages to hit, but doesn't do a whole lot of damage. This one's going to go up and smack the objective. Third guy is going to move past his command check and miss a Skinwalker. Boomhowler is going to shoot a Skinwalker in the back, the one that Madeline was so nice to take control over. And he's going to do 4 damage to that Boomhowler, or to that Skinwalker. Madeline will just kind of back up a little bit. Alexia is going to move and smack that Skinwalker with her POW 12 sword. And no damage. We're going to swing and miss there. That one's just going to move up. This guy's going to take a shot and also miss. A lot of missing going on with this free espionage. It's not looking too backbreaking right now for Gino. Now, there was a bit of a rules question going on here. Anastasia is a friendly model, so without spending too much time looking it up, Mike went ahead and moved her as well. If that is an incorrect move, feel free to comment, but currently we are unsure if Anastasia can move herself due to espionage. Either way, she tries to hit Grayle and misses, so now the gun mages are going to activate. They're going to get closer to those nasty blood weavers, and we're going to take a bunch of snipe shots on them. Alright, so they are Rat 7. The blood weavers are defense 14. We're needing 7s to hit, and there's 2 6s in a row. Alright, surely this third one will hit. Nope, that's another 6. That's not going to do it. Come on, there we go. We got one. Okay, the mule will activate next. Maybe he can do something a little bit better than his gun mages. Mike's going to go ahead and check line of sight to Megalith. He's wondering if that objective is blocking line of sight, but it looks pretty good on this angle. He's going to stand still and use his Jack Marshall ability, Thunderbolt, boosting to hit. The boost has a critical effect, but he did not roll double, so there was no critical. However, it does push everything away D3 inches. He's doing a POW 15 on Megalith. Looks like dice -4 does 4 damage. And then POW 8 blast damage on all these nearby girls. And that is going to be enough to get through their poultry armor. Alright, here comes Gorten. He moved 3 of his 4 inches. Checking his control area. He only has a 10-inch control area. So he moved his final 4th inch. And he is going to pop feet. Landslide is an amazing feat. Mike gets to choose a side. He chose directly back towards Gino. He chose 8 inches. So these models are going to be pushed 8 inches directly back. And they are also going to receive -3 speed, rat, and defense. And they cannot receive or give orders for a round. Thankfully, some of Gino's stones, this Sentry Stone and Shifting Stone, cannot be pushed. So that's going to help keep some of his models in the zone. Also, rough terrain counts as rough terrain, even with a model that has Pathfinder, because that Pathfinder only triggers on their activation. When they're being pushed on Mike's turn, you do not count the Pathfinder, so that's going to slow them down a bit. It's Gorten still his turn, so he's going to now, with his little shotgun, he's going to do both barrels. Try to clear out that Skinwalker that survived so many attacks. It only has 2 boxes left. By using both barrels, it's going to take it from a POW 12 to a POW 16. Currently, that Skinwalker is unengaged, so it's going to be straight dice if he hits. Its defense is -3 from the feet, and he's presenting his back to Gorten, so anything but Snake Eyes will hit. Now he's doing straight dice, and it's dead. And just for giggles, Gorten is going to put a rock wall right in front of those guys. Next up are the Boom Howlers. They're going to Fell Call, Call of Defiance, which gives them +4, or 4+ tough, I should say. 4, 5, and 6s, they tough. And they're going to do a run charge order. Under this feat, they're going to basically hit very easily. And they are POW 12s. A proxy model, but that one's going to go ahead and charge the Sentry Stone. This looks like he has 2 on the Alpha, 1 on a Skinwalker. No, two on a Skinwalker, 1 on a Sentry Stone. One charged the, looks like a Blood Weaver, and the rest of these guys are just running. Alright, so I think he needs an 8 to hit there. He's got it. Matt's 6, 8 would be a defense 14, and pretty easy to kill once he actually hits him. On the Sentry Stone, not doing a whole lot of damage there. No damage, actually. Next, he's going to do 5 damage to that Skinwalker, which gave Alexia a soul. He's going to try to hit that Alpha. Does some damage, not enough to kill, and the Alpha has Retaliatory Strike and is going to hit back. It would kill normally, but it makes its tough roll, and because of solid ground, it's not even going to fall down. Vanguard is now going to move. Remember, the Vanguard has 2 focus on it. It's a range 8. And he wants that Alpha dead. The Alpha has -3 defense from the feet, but +4 defense while being engaged, so it's currently at defense 13. The boosted shot from the Vanguard hits, and the boosted damage only does 1 point of damage, leaving that Alpha still alive. That is the end of Mike's turn. Alright, Gino, turn 3. He's going to leech some of his fury back for Grayle. He's also going to drop Storm Rager on Lord of the Feast. I'm sure he's thinking to himself, I need to assassinate Gorten, because under Gorten's feet, having -3 speed, he's not going to be able to get a lot of damage done this turn. So attrition is looking pretty slim, especially with all his Forge Guard up there and Boom Howlers in his throat. He did make a late terror check, or a command check on his Blood Weavers, because Mike killed more than half the unit last turn. They passed the command check. Alright, so that Warp Wolf is going to warp for strength. He's going to go ahead and try to boost that little Stonekeeper. And he does push him. Sentry Stone's going to activate next. He's going to shift himself up, and he's going to do Devour Magic. Each enemy model within 6 inches is going to lose a focus or a fury, and with that focus and fury it steals. It'll then make a mannequin. Gorten is now sitting at just 1 focus, meaning he is at armor 20. Megalith is going to go. He's going to Geomancy Storm Rager onto Grayle. We'll save Grayle some fury that way. And he will easily smash a Boom Howler into paste. Shifting Stones are going to activate. Thanks to the push from the Warp Wolf, they are now in command of each other. And they are going to shift or teleport Grayle. Mike's a little confused by this, and Gina's going to help him out here. Imagine that these black mannequins are shifting stones. That little brown one, if that's Grayle, that is technically in the triangle, and that can be shifted. I'm sure Mike's thinking to himself, oh crap. Because now his caster, full of fury and Storm Rager, is getting pretty close to Gorten. He couldn't get the full distance, but that's not a big deal. Because Grayle does have sidestep, so he's going to take his first initial on this Boom Howler, smack him, kill him, and he's going to sidestep 2 inches towards Gorten. Currently, with Storm Rager up, he only needs 4s to hit Gorten, at an armor 20, and his dice -8. He has 1 initial attack left and 6 focus, so he can take 7 initials that are or 7 attacks that are not boosted. And just hope he kills him. Or he can basically buy and boost 4 attacks. They're doing the math in their head like a good friendly opponent. Mike's giving him his opinion. Gino decides to go with the just 7 attack approach. First one that hit did 3 damage. Bought did 1 damage with the second one. Third attack, bought, does 0 damage. Third attack, buying, hits easily. And we're looking at 4 damage there, not bad. Buy another one, hits, and another 4 damage. Let's go ahead and buy again. And we are, 0 damage. Alright, one more shot, buy. And 1 point of damage. There is 8 life left on Gorten. That is not what Gino wanted. He's looking at his army right now. Most of it's been affected by landslide. Lord of the Feast is way too far. There's just nothing he can do to get some extra damage on Gorten. It was all in there. And really, that wasn't a bad assassination attempt. He's going to pass turn because there's just nothing else he can do. Mike is going to seal the deal. Going to drop solid ground, drop the wall of stone. Looks like he's given maybe 1 to his basher. Basher's going to go ahead and boost a headbutt. And he'll hit him. Does about 3 points of damage to Grayle. Gorten's going to smack him with the Forge Father now. Auto hitting, so POW 14 does 4 damage there. Uses a little crappy little gun blade. It's going to do nothing. So he's going to keep buying hits with a Forge Father. Does about 3 damage there. And that'll seal the deal. Game over. Mercenaries win.